Hello. I feel like doing a bunch of streaming today. Let's get things set up. Well, I set up that I was going to do boats first, so I might as well do some boats first. Let's get some dailies. Make progress on the dockyard. I want that ship. Um, Awesome. I think we're going to listen to some Well There's Your Problem while playing some boats. And let's open the box. Free XP, not too bad.
Disconnect that.
I love these
Does everyone
guys.
still hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Once I threatened to uninstall Discord, it popped right up.
you gotta like you gotta terrorize it a little bit so it does what you want.
All right.
All right.
We
Does that
ready?
mean we're ready to podcast.
Yep.
Hello. Welcome to Well, There's Your Problem. It's a podcast about engineering disasters, and it has slides. I'm Justin Rosniak. I'm the person who is talking right now. My pronouns are he and him. Okay.
I am Alice Caldwell Kelly. I am the person who is talking now. My pronouns are she and her. And shout out to the person in the comments who was like, I just realized that's actually correct. And she hasn't been doing an extended bit for the last however many dozen episodes.
People are gross.
Oh my god.
We call them problematics for a reason.
I mean, listen, I wish I were that committed, right? Like, just to be doing like a slow burn thing just to annoy people. I say that my pronouns are something other than what they are.
So like half the people out there think we're just edgy gamers.
Yes, yeah, people genuinely think this. This is, I mean, granted, it's my fault for never bothering to do any of the voice work, but still.
Yeah.
Overrated.
That's true. It's, a lot of work, and
Let's see here. I am Liam Anderson. My pronouns are he, him.
Are you sure you don't want to?
You sounded very grim there.
Yeah. Listen, we're gonna talk about Saudi Aramco. I'm trying to get in the holiday spirit.
all three of us are driving one of those like early generation Dodge trucks that like all of the like Gulfy oil companies used, the like red and black ones. And we're just in one of those. We're just thriving.
Mobile podcasting unit.
That's right.
Depending. I've also spent the last 5 days in my buddy's RV, and I slept on what could be charitably described as an extra thick boy yoga mat. So while my spine is in perfect alignment, everything else has just gone to hell.
What kind of RV though? Like
it's like a 2004 25-footer. It's absolutely like keeps the gaudy wood paneling. The bathroom is not tall enough for me to take a shower in, so I was just, taking the hobbits to Isengard while I was trying to take the one
just
shower.
about to burst out of this RV like the Hulk's shirts.
That's really how I felt, and it's got this really curious design choice where the passenger footwell is extremely narrow, and I am a chunky lad, so I'm just like shifting uncomfortably for 7.5 hours. The airbag light was on the whole time. Our brakes locked up 3 times.
Oh, jeez.
I'm a little.
So subscribe to the
rough.
Patreon for our next bonus episode.
Yeah, go
Liam's
subscribe to their
friends
Patreon. They're
RV.
great. It's only $2.
God bless, friend of the pod. I'm gonna vomit as I say those words. Josh Munson. He bought this thing. It's amazing. I do love the fact that like RV designers make the most interesting choices in the world. Like the fact that there's no room for a full-size trash can. It's just one of those little dinky like bathroom trash cans, and just there's 2 dudes. The whole thing smelled like Warped Tour. And it was just like,
you've got to do the
Oh,
Mad
no.
Men thing where you have the picnic and then they throw all of the trash down the pristine, beautiful hillside. That's the dream.
I mean, it's funny that I can poop in my car. Like that objectively
You can do
is
that in any car if you're not a coward.
Also,
This
you
is
can
true,
you
yes.
get to say the line, the car is coming from inside the house. Yeah, my friend Anne Marie was just like, oh, you should open a window, and I'm just like, do you not understand what seeping into the fabric means?
So
So let's
you're
learn
gonna
about
see-
another petrochemical disaster.
Yes. What you see in front of you is one picture of an apartment building being built, and another big picture of a finished apartment building. This building appears to be made out of wood, right? And a lot of people think they're made out of wood, but today they're mostly made out of oil. Today we're going to talk about the 5/1.
That's some low viscosity oil.
Yeah, but we don't know the exposure time on this photo.
Yeah, exactly. These are sort of like the standard sort of developer boxes.
Yeah,
everyone
every
loves to
building
hate.
looks like this.
Yes.
Yes. And today we're gonna talk about how these came to be, why they all look the same, and some of the problems with these buildings beyond just aesthetics, right? Because it's real easy to do an aesthetic critique on these.
This is
but,
always the point at. Or
yeah,
the
but
residences at.
People may be saying, but wait a second, the residences at isn't a disaster. Oh, you are incorrect, and we will explain how over the next hour and something.
Yay!
Over the next 4 years, we will be explaining.
How do you build a building out of entirely oil?
Yeah.
And wood chips.
Course.
I look forward to the Penn Central episode, if for no other reason that it's just like we're gonna find a way to make this. If revolutions can make the French Revolution 900 parts, we can make Penn Central that easily 1,000-parter.
I'll figure out how to make this podcast into something you can watch and get continuing education credits.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should find a way to become a degree mill. I've never heard of. Well, there's your problem. Technical college.
No, I think technical college is too cool. We should go for like the retro thing and become a normal school.
Oh yeah, or a finishing school. We'll go way back.
Ooh.
Well, there's your problem. Charm school for young ladies.
Right, now I'm gonna have to make ID cards for that.
But before we talk about this, we have to talk about the goddamn news.
Springfield tire fire now smelled in 46 states.
Yes, and apparently Bradford.
That's right.
Oh, look at that sad double-decker.
Yeah, what we have here is just a regular and actual tire fire, not just a metaphor. And this is, if I can be allowed to use my Dave Courtney voice, an highly illegal storage of tires that somebody, I guess a couple of guys were just operating a kind of unregulated tire storage business where they were like, yeah, just throw them on the pile. And then this happened. We don't know how it started yet, but it's been going for 5 days and counting. They've closed all of the schools, all of the buses. You can see this sad bus here. Yeah. The reason why it's sad is because it's not running, because nothing's running. Bradford is shut off. It is a Chernobyl-style closed city due to Gaz and Baz's illegal tire refinery.
I was interested that there was, if you Googled this, the first result came from a website for Tire and Rubber Recycling Magazine.
Yeah, very, good SEO, surprisingly.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And they have a tire recycling podcast, apparently.
Which you should listen to and donate to their Patreon.
Obviously, we should do a collab sometime.
Yeah, that's right.
What I was thinking is maybe they could, harness the energy from these burning tires, right? Maybe you could run a turbine, you could produce some electricity, right? And you could use that to power electric cars, right? And then those electric cars, could then provide tires which could fuel the fire, right?
Folks, he's figured the whole thing out.
I'm good at environmentalism.
Perpetual motion. We did it.
That's right. I mean, the fact that this has been burning for 5 days, it might well be the safest thing, but the firefighters are hating that because it makes them look like cucks, right? West Midlands Fire Service or whoever it is, just gently standing near this and lightly misting it down.
My God. These tire fires are gnarly. I mean, they go forever.
And will apparently continue to do so. So, Bradford's now twinned with Centralia, Pennsylvania.
Apparently, yeah.
Well, they leveled Centralia now. Yeah, they got mad at us trespassing. We were the last people to ever trespass there.
Well, they're just gonna level the rest of Bradford, and it's just gonna be the tire fire.
They closed the graffiti highway, is what I meant by that. Because why would you give people with nothing to do in central Pennsylvania even less things to do? It's genius.
because then we'll be able to get on heroin, which is what is the real thing that you should be encouraging them to do.
Yeah, that is the natural pastime.
Speaking of post-industrial decline, the area that this is happening on, this unlicensed, illegal tire disposal thing, is a former go-kart track.
Oh, of course it is.
Just that the phrase "former go-kart track" is so evocative
Really
of like everything you
reminiscent
need
of
to
our
know.
decline
Yeah.
as a yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they've closed everything because the smoke, which is of course incredibly acrid, is just sitting all over the city. It's real bad.
Yeah, not good. In other not good news.
Oh shit! Where's my news drop?
God damn it, guys.
You're a fucking newsman, Don. I ever tell you otherwise, you punch me in the face.
Thank you.
The other news.
That's
drop.
right. That's right.
I love that drop.
Public service announcement. Thanksgiving is coming. Don't get yourself killed.
Yeah, please don't get yourself
Do
killed.
not shake hands with danger. Maintain a
Yeah.
1.6 meter distance from danger.
1.6. Imagine not just having feet.
Yeah, I mean, just some tips on how to avoid taking part in the oncoming Turkey Day Holocaust.
I saw that note and
Finally, finally as deadly for humans as it is for turkeys.
Yes.
I mean, if not more
they
so,
sure
because
feel
like,
like-
yeah, you have one Thanksgiving meal that might kill one turkey, but it's gonna kill 25, 30 people.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, CDC says don't travel. You know, which is a smart thing to do. Don't be stupid. Don't let your parents make you be stupid.
Don't gather
travel.
with other people. Listen, this should be an easy sell to you, the listeners of Well, There's Your Problem. Continue as normal with the game of Thanksgiving. Come downstairs once, wearing the full Master Chief armor, to get a plate, eat that plate in your room, and listen to more podcasts.
Yes, and also please continue to subscribe to our Patreon.
That's right.
We can't take your money if you're dead.
Does a
Probably
Master
work something
Chief
out with your estate.
Does a Master Chief helmet count as a mask?
I would have to think so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you should think about all the ways you can get killed traveling, right? You know, because it could be fine. You could wind up, you know, in a line for the one working bathroom stall at Vince Lombardi service station for an hour with a bunch of assless plague victims.
Very specific.
Also, if you're traveling, do you want to get COVID at home or do you want to get COVID at like
On a beach.
Yeah, exactly. At like a hospital that's already overwhelmed, like where your parents live. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, I noticed, I guess friend of the pod, Katie, sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, was saying that 94% of ICU beds in Arkansas are already full. Like,
Yeah, so if your parents live in
don't.
Arkansas, for instance, do not go
Don't
home.
go there.
Don't go home.
I know,
Yeah,
I know,
don't do
I
it.
know.
If you're a
But, like,
data
there will be another
person,
time.
if you're a data person, Canadian Thanksgiving is earlier. You can see the graph. It's just a line. It's a vertical
Yeah.
line. It's a big
Right.
spike.
Oh,
If you live in a place with a lot of COVID, don't go to a place that doesn't have much COVID because you'll bring it there. If you live in a place with not much COVID, don't go to a place that has a lot of COVID because then you'll
Why would
bring
you
it
leave?
back.
I will
Yeah,
say,
don't go anywhere.
I
Don't go
stopped at-
anywhere.
Yeah,
I
stay
stopped
in your
at a
room.
truck stop in North Carolina. I was the only person wearing a mask because, of course, I was. Or was it actually in Tennessee? My apologies to the fine people of North Carolina. And the woman working the register laughed at me, and I sort of thought to myself, listen, I'm gonna go full hillbilly elegy here in a second. Like, listen, lady,
Yeah,
look where we are.
listen.
Like, and they had a Trump flag still flying, and I just wanted to be like, yeah, I was gonna go full JD Vance and be like, do you want to know why your life sucks?
If you had come from Philadelphia not wearing a mask, it would have been the deadliest interaction someone coming into a gas station would have had since Anton Sugar.
I always just want to like lower my mask and just cough on these people and be like, clearly you don't have a problem with it. It's like, listen, I'm doing this as a courtesy to you. I don't care if you live or die. You're a Volunteers fan.
What
Like, the less
what you've got to do is you've got to get the sociopath
Aw,
mask,
he
the one with
survived.
the
Oh,
exhale
well.
valve.
Next.
That it's just like, fuck you, got mine, valve.
Yeah.
I'm
One that like actually amplifies every breath into a sneeze.
I think that's part of it. It's just like people don't really understand that like wearing a mask, like the literal bare minimum you can do to protect people around you, is like, it's just not. I wouldn't say at this point anymore. It's just this profoundly American disease of the idea of I simply cannot be bothered to do anything for other people, despite the fact that I live amongst 330 other million Americans.
Listen,
that just pisses me off so much.
President
Like
Biden's going to restore civility, and he's going to fix
Oh
it.
boy.
I'm gonna cough on these fucking people, Alice. I'm gonna cough on them, and then I'm gonna take their Trump flag, and then I'm gonna wipe my fucking ass with it. And then I'm gonna go to Pat Toomey's house, and I'm gonna give him my shit-covered Trump flag, because he won't fucking pass COVID relief because he's too busy pouting about Governor Wolf. I swear to God, every time Pat Toomey tweets or opens his mouth, I just want to drive up to Scranton and just. And you may have to edit that out. I didn't say gun, so it should be fine.
No, it probably would be legal if you said something about a gun, but since you mentioned any other kind of weapon, it's highly illegal.
That's right.
I was just gonna stand at the base of his driveway and do one of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier rotations.
Complete with like spinning the M14 and shit.
Yeah, exactly. And then when he interrupts me, I'll do the thing they do at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and they just scream at you until you're quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They do that.
I prefer not to be screamed at by a DI if I can avoid it again. Thank you.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Lord. Yeah, don't get yourself
Missing
killed.
stuff.
You know, unless you're a bad person, in which case, whatever. I don't
Fly
care.
Delta.
Okay, that was the news.
The news.
Okay.
Oh, we're back here again.
I know. We're back here again. At Drake's Well, which notably
no.
is a wooden building, right?
Wow, so he did this and had a successful rap career?
Yes. That's how he funded his rap career.
This is so we're back at Drake's Well, question mark?
Yeah.
Oh, right, because we're going to talk about low viscosity oil.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, why would you, we're doing a show which is about wooden buildings, but wooden apartment buildings, your 5/1s, right? Why would you start here to talk about wooden buildings?
Oil.
It's sort of because we're going to talk about engineered lumber, and in order to talk about engineered lumber, we have to talk about oil, right?
This is the building that is ending the world.
Yep.
I would say, of the buildings out there with like the most historical threads that pass through them, it's like Drake's Well and Old St. Peter's. So, all right, we talked about this in which one? The Piper Alpha episode.
Yep.
A bit. Commercial oil production began here in 1859. Lots of interesting applications for the black stuff, came shortly afterwards, right? It wasn't really until mass adoption of the internal combustion engine that the potential for oil and oil byproducts was really realized, though, right? So, which brings us to Saudi Arabia.
Best country in the world. Only country in the world. It put a giant flag up to annoy the Jordanians. Just a land of cool people, all of whom are wearing 50 white Dior belts all the time.
A lot of radar.
And abusing their domestic laborers.
And driving cars sideways.
Yeah, well, that is
That
cool.
one's cool.
That
Yeah,
one's good.
It's kind of cool, yeah.
Whatever the Nissan Patrols, which we have as the Armada in the United States, that they super mod to make like 1,400 horsepower. Those are pretty sick.
Yeah, let's try and think of the positive things about Saudi Arabia.
No.
It contains the cool cube.
It does have the
although
cube.
they do their best to ruin the cool cube by like building luxury hotels
It has
around
the
it.
world's tallest clock tower.
Yeah.
Or more like cock tower, am I right?
Yeah.
Enemy warships
So,
sighted.
in the early 1940s, three
Everything
men.
got worse.
Yeah. Three men, Max Steinecke, Thomas Barger, and Ernie Berg, went to the recently unified country of Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
and they had a religious experience.
Max, Tom, and Ernie destroy the world.
Yeah. This religious experience was not at the holy city of Mecca, nor was it at Medina, nor at the tent city of Mina. It was not while circling the Kaaba, nor while stoning the pillars. It was while mapping the Wadi al-Saba riverbed, right? Yeah, exactly. They noticed an unusual geologic uplift which indicated the presence of oil. An unusual amount of oil, like a huge amount, more than was postulated to exist before.
Smash cut to the three of us in the time travel capsule from Looper getting out, and I have a Glock.
So when the exploration wells were sunk, it was found that, yeah, there was a whole bunch of oil, right? And these men realized God had given them a great gift and went on to found the Arabian American Oil Company. You know, to preach and evangelize the good word of oil and to ensure that oil was part of every fuel, every medicine, every consumer product, every durable good, every industrial process, every single thing that you or I lay eyes on every day, right?
Last
Oil come from that well in a place we now call Gawar, right? The Arabian American Oil Company, which was later nationalized and called Saudi Aramco. You know, the story is expansive and encompassing, shapes a huge amount of global political economy today. This is just sort of a small piece of that, showing how even, you know, buildings we think are made of wood are mostly made of oil.
Yeah, we are connecting a pin and some red string between Saudi Aramco and why all the apartments look like that, as opposed to the usual connection of Saudi Aramco and 9/11.
Yes.
We're just gazing into this faceted jewel, one facet of which is doing 9/11, and another is all of the apartment buildings look like that.
Which is worse? Who can say? Okay, so we should also look at, you know, sort of the history of apartment buildings, right? You know, we've had apartment buildings for a very, very, very long time, right? Apartment buildings have always needed to be built kind of cheap, right? Because they're usually mass-produced, right? You know, they're, well, not mass-produced in the way we would know of today, but people have to build a lot of them, right?
Right.
So we got some examples here, you know, your classic New York City tenement building, right? We've got Shibham, which is in Yemen. This is an ancient city of 6 and 7 story, sort of clay brick and rammed earth buildings, right? We got old Native American pueblos in the Southwest. You know, these sometimes went a little higher than the ones you see here. You know, you got houses in Paris.
I really like the Pueblo ones that are built into the cliff faces. Those rock.
I can tell you though, getting home after a night of drinking would suck some ass.
You gotta Assassin's Creed parkour your way up your neighbor's house.
I'm going to bed, and then you're just scaling like a 25-foot wall. Just like, I told him I didn't want to do shots on a Monday.
You gotta get up and go to work the next day, and you're just like,
all right, time to break out the emergency fund slide.
The Pueblos in this image have been modified to have doors. Originally, the Pueblos would only be accessible from sort of a hatch in the roof.
yeah, the Indus River Valley houses are like that too. You build them all together, so the town's like a walled city. They all adjoin each other, and then you just get in from the roof.
Well, awesome. That would not be conducive to me as a fat guy.
Well, yeah, that's why, you just wouldn't...
Oh, my calves would be terrific.
Yeah, you would be an extremely ripped and prim Chad.
You would maintain a different equilibrium, yeah. You know, you just have to watch out for orange shapes. You know?
That's right. Which is kind of a problem when your house is also an orange shape.
Yeah, this is true. And then, you know, we got Roman Insula over here. You know, all these apartment buildings throughout history, you know, this sort of remarkably similar construction, really. You got, you know, masonry walls, and that's, you know, masonry here, I guess, ranges from, you know, sort of adobe bricks to, you know, stone to brick to, you know, what have you. right? And you got wood joists holding up the floors, right? You know, historically, your best apartments were usually on the second floor, and they got cheaper as you went up until they invented the elevator, and then the best apartments were on the top floor, and they got cheaper as you went down.
Yeah, you can see, for instance, if you look at the Paris ones, under the leaded roofs, you have what's called a garret. That's the cheapest one, or used to be, because you have, like, no space, because the actual roof is intruding in on you. But it's fine, because that's where you like, that's where your servants and your starving artists live, was out of sight and out of mind.
Right.
Exactly.
And
right?
I mean, we have
there.
a whole episode about the like politics of cramming people into high rises in order to not see them, about Grenfell.
And and don't forget Pour Doors, got those in New York. Yeah, there was a building that went up, I think, a few years ago where there was a huge. It was the Time Warner Center, where basically the tenants got to come into the nice, neat little lobby, and all that. The help, of course, had to filter in through whatever Assassin's Creed scale into an air vent. Yeah,
and I mean, it's happening even with lockdown, right? Like, now that we have all of these student residences, which are all absolutely buildings.
Oh, I heard about
buildings
this.
that looked like that. Now that we've locked those down, we've just literally had universities surrounding them with fences here, and like security and police patrols to be like, no, you want to study sociology? Guess what? The university really does resemble a prison now, motherfucker.
I think Nate and Francis were talking about that on
yeah.
Oh God. Hellevoy. There we go.
Yeah, you got it eventually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the Nate Bethea extended universe.
Hello,
but I
person.
do not pay respect to my god.
You were like an absent-minded NPC where Nate is the protagonist.
And edit this one, dickhead.
You're like a parallel universe.
Yeah, go ahead and make your
we're not-
jokes. He's gonna edit me selectively on the next Trash Future because of it.
Sorry, Nate.
It's funny.
We love you, Nate.
So, all right. So these apartments are very common, you know, basically everywhere. We're going to be kind of United States centric today because that's where 5/1s are built. You know, until sort of the immediate post-war period, right? After World War II, you know, the GIs are coming home. Everyone needs houses and stuff. After World War II, multi-family housing was sort of essentially banned in most of the United States, right? Through zoning, through financing requirements from the Federal Housing Administration and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, but we did get that song Little Boxes out of it, so it's, you know, worthwhile.
Yeah, who can say whether it's good or bad? So, you know, cities and towns across the country implement zoning codes that explicitly allow only single-family homes on the vast majority of land. Not just like, you know, towns in the suburbs, but huge swaths of cities we usually associate with multifamily housing, right? New York City, Chicago, Los Angeles, places like that. You know, huge amounts of those cities are just, you can only build single-family houses. And your multifamily apartment construction becomes limited to like public housing and large luxury towers, not so much stuff in the more affordable 3 to 7 story range.
A good thing that we didn't also coincide this with massive redlining.
Oh yeah.
So that we produce a lot of like,
never happened,
so that we produce a lot of suburbs that have like single family occupation, and then you just have a lot of inner cities that have like very tall buildings, for instance.
Yeah, who would do that? Couldn't be me.
Look, it's called the Fair Housing Administration. It's not called the Unfair Housing Administration. And if they had been doing Unfair Housing Administration, they would have had to have changed the name.
Surely the guide rails of the system will protect
That's right.
people
That's
from,
right.
from, yes.
I don't know why all these guide rails are drawn in red, but yeah, it's fine.
You know why? I can get a lot of financing for single family houses very easily, but if I want to build one, 3-story building, they just slam the door in my face. So, construction sort of shifts to steel frames and reinforced concrete rather than load-bearing masonry for your, sort of taller apartment buildings, which are still able to be financed, right? But, otherwise, most construction single-family homes, this sort of, it's a method to, sort of encourage everyone to own a home. They own a home, they own a car, and all this sort of stuff. Conserve power.
Every white person.
Every white person, yes, of course. You know, and it brings sort of the institution of homeownership to America, where, you know, homeownership is a store of wealth. You know, it's a way to invest in your retirement, and you know, it turns everyone into just rabid anti-communists.
Yeah, the same thing happened in Britain with Thatcher selling off council housing, public housing, very, very cheaply to create this store of home ownership that turned an entire generation into psychos.
It is one of the most effective ways of turning people into just psychotic. Yeah, I don't even
Asshole. Yeah.
kulaks.
Oh, okay. Hey, Dad.
The price for you sending your kid to go and get killed in Vietnam is one of these houses. And for that cost, not only will you send your kid to die in Vietnam, but you will be glad about it the whole time.
Yeah, because
Yes.
you can come home to your 4-bedroom house, which you don't need anymore because your 3 sons have all died in Vietnam.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it's actually really interesting because
That's
I think
a bonus room now.
yeah, you know, maybe a weight room, you know, get back in shape after the baby. But I think part of it is that like this, we see this sort of in every facet of like home ownership and sort of the specificity around like why people sometimes I think do vote Republican is this idea that like, well, you know, maybe I'm not making 40 million a year, but like one day I will be. And at least in part, that's represented by home ownership. So you just get absolutely nutso about taxes, and that sort of informs your entire worldview, despite the fact that, like, you're never going to see the tax break that fucking Mark Zuckerberg got. But you think, you know, aspirationally, well, I might get there someday, and I don't want to, you know, hurt my chances. And take it from me, a now incorporated small business owner, I get it.
Yeah.
But
It shifts the collective struggle from, like, you know, wanting higher wages and better working conditions to wanting higher property values.
exactly, I know that's exactly right, and it sort of decentralizes and takes away, you know, your ability. There's also, you know, as dumb as it sounds, there's a better ability to organize when you live 10 feet from your neighbor.
Yeah, this is an
You know, to go on a
atomization
tenant
machine.
strike or something like that.
If you want to like
right.
organize, if you want to organize a subdivision, it's only ever going to be in service of raising property values, which means it's only ever going to be in service of terrorizing black people out of living there.
Yeah, you're gonna form a homeowners association, not a union.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're gonna really start screaming at like 2 or 3 people you don't like about where they put their garbage bins. Fine them $100 a day because it's 1 foot left of where it should be.
The neighbors I grew up across the street from would get very annoyed when our trash cans were not lined up smallest to largest. So I started before I left for school on the day when the trash would come, I would just rearrange their trash cans too. See how you like it.
All right, so with this suburbanization comes like new ways to do wooden construction, right? You know, to make stuff cheaper. So sort of a brief history of wooden construction here.
All right, I'll bite. What is wood?
Stave church.
It comes from a tree.
What's a
Right.
tree?
I've never seen one of those.
Yeah, you really do.
yeah,
live in
well,
I live in
Glasgow, don't
Glasgow. I haven't seen one of those in years.
you? A tree grows in Brooklyn, but not in Glasgow.
Yeah. All right, so on the one hand, we have like traditional wooden construction, right? So you got like, you know, big heavy timbers, right? Hewn from the mightiest oak in the forest, arranged by the most skilled tradesmen in the land into a stout and hardy structure that would last for the ages.
Why are you yelling?
Yeah.
It's how it should
I'm
be.
trying to evoke a sort of romantic image of skilled carpenters assembling stout and hardy structures.
Yes, of course. Sorry.
Maybe
Dude,
boats
go on.
too. I don't know. This stuff was already almost non-existent by the mid 19th century, right?
We love the enclosure, don't we, folks? We love the Industrial Revolution.
Depending on the location, a lot of times it's more economical to build with brick or masonry than large, heavy timber framing, right? But towards the 1830s, we get this thing called balloon frames, right? So rather than having big, solid, heavy wooden members, you have lots of light, standardized lumber, you know, 2x4s and stuff that are arranged to make, you know, stronger assemblies, right? So this is
Hostile forces have been sighted.
Oh.
Stand by for action.
Sort of similar to modern platform framing, but
Hmm.
you know, these wooden
odd.
studs are usually continuous through all the floors of the house, right? You add diagonal members that resist shear forces. And this is the sort of stuff you get with like a Sears house or something of that era.
Just some music for a bit. Hmm.
Stand by for bearing. Hey, could you lend me a hand?
Flee! Flee for your lives! Ugh, freaking sky cancer. Black torps are so slow, though. News. Oh my god. We're gaming. Can you pick this shit up? today we're doing hard mode. Man, I was so convinced that was gonna be a lost match. Are there radars I need to be worried about? Nope. Wow, that's impressive. Ugh. It's getting tangled in cords. There we go, much better. Calibrated. Halfway there already. Yeah.
The lion, which is just awesome. Yep.
Torpedoes to starboard!
That should keep us hidden for a while. Mission accomplished.
Rip.
of Adeptus Ridiculous. Oh crap! I screwed it up already.
Leave it. Just go. Just go. Just
All
go.
right,
Let's
all right,
keep
we're
it in.
gonna-
Let's
we're
go.
gonna
Let's go.
All right, we're gonna keep going. Hi, support us. Great money, us. Patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you can get stuff and fun. Orchid8.com merch, link in description. I'm having a stroke.
The most cursed intro ever. Whoa.
I'm hurting.
Shy's not here live with us, so she is.
Spotted an enemy
We might be
warship.
out of a job come next week.
I can't even make a joke that like my intro is as scuffed as the book we read. Like if we read a bad book.
Yeah, because the book was really good. You
Because-
really like Son of the Forest.
Because it was really good.
Yeah, yeah.
So today's book club episode is in fact Lion, Son of the Forest.
Consider done.
Indeed it was.
Now, okay, so when this book came out, everyone was like, Ricky, this book is great. It's really good. And I'm like, all right. Dark Angel fans have like to suck their dick a lot. They have a lot of good named characters, a lot of special units. Their lore is very interesting. The Lion is an interesting Primarch.
He
Like,
is.
and then like it's a little hard to take a Dark Angels fans opinion seriously when their Primarch Returns book comes out, and I'm like, this book is complete dog shit. They're gonna love it anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could say that for literally any faction in 40k. They all have their diehard fans that, as long as something about their Primarch or their faction comes out, they are going to, like, hold it up on a pedestal that is unreachable, right?
Right. Or at least I had assumed that would be the case.
Yeah, and actually, in this case, it turned out to be just as good as they said.
It is a fantastic book.
It is a great book, yeah.
It held my attention top to bottom.
Whole way through, yep.
I'm genuinely shocked. I think it's unfortunate because you can't really put this book up into the pedestal of things like Infinite and the Divine, only because it's not as accessible from a new person perspective.
Oh yeah, you can't go into this without prior knowledge of Dark Angel stuff, Horus Heresy stuff, 40k. It would be impossible. You would be so confused.
That being said, I would put it from a quality point of view about up there with Infinite and the Divine. I think this is about that same level of quality. It is a phenomenal book.
It has the mystery, it has the intrigue, it has the action, it has the Space Marines, it has void battles. It's kind of got it all. It has everything.
So, Lion Son of the Forest is about the lion, shocker,
Oh wow, really?
who just randomly wakes up in a warped style version of Caliban, and
Forests of Caliban.
yeah, like a mockery of it, and then basically makes his way into other planets through this weird like travel through this forest to find the fallen.
Yep.
The versions of his sons that served Luther back in the day of the heresy and paid the price by getting yeeted into the warp and thrown around in God knows where.
And they've experienced various different times, right? Some of them have been around for like 700 years. Some are like, oh yeah, I've only been around for 30 years, and time is a very fickle thing with the warp or something, right?
Yes, time does not exist in the warp. So where you get popped out of could be any point in time. There's good chance of, I mean, the as they call their little brothers, the modern day Dark Angels have found many have fallen and tortured them to death. And that's been in the past 10,000 years, but this is the lion kind of atoning for somewhat mistakes and finding his fallen his fallen sons to kind of gather them. He does a little Pokemon hunt. He kind of gathers them up and
He does. He throws his Pokeballs at the Dark Angels, and Zabriel, I choose you.
Yeah, it's okay, Zabriel. No worries that you fired upon me immediately after you saw me, but
Yeah, well, to be fair, if you're Zabriel and you're one of the Fallen, and you see you see old Lion, I mean, what do you think is gonna happen? I remember what the Lion does to people like me. Nope, time to fight. I mean, it is the natural reaction of a Fallen.
oh well, especially a Fallen who's been alive for 400 years and has been hunted by his little brothers the entire time.
Yeah, it's a fair reaction on his part.
With that is the general shtick of the entire book. The Lion arrives and goes out to find more and more of his fallen brothers to bring them back into the fold, but only those that have not forsaken humanity, because on the opposite side of the coin, the villains of this book are also two fallen that have also, but have chose to ally themselves with chaos.
Baylor and Seraphax.
Seraphax, the sorcerer, with his half of his face permanently on fire, which is awesome.
Of the 10,000 eyes.
And Baylor is a lot less weird.
He's basically uncorrupted by chaos, right? Like, he serves Seraphax, but he hasn't, right?
He pledges himself to Seraphax, who has pledged himself to chaos.
Yeah, but he's not, like, corrupted. He's not like, oh, Slanesh and Zinch, give me the tongue, or anything like that.
Well, speaking of tongue, there are a couple people who have fallen to chaos as the Chaos Warband, the 10,000 Eyes. They have some Sludge people.
They do, and they have some corn people, and they have some, yep.
So,
Van whatever. Did we remember his name? I was trying to remember his name. It was
the corn guy?
The Red or something, right?
Yeah, I keep wanting to say Vandre, but I know it's not that.
It's not. It's like Vanaheim, Vanacamp, Van.
I think there's an
something
axe,
like that.
but it doesn't matter. He dies.
He does. He does. He gets wrecked by the lion.
So basically, like, the entire book does revolve around the Fallen, but a combination of both the Fallen in terms of loyalist and the Fallen in terms of chaos. It's like, hey, not all Fallen are just oh no, sad boys. We've been hunted by the Dark Angels. There are a lot of them who are actually evil.
Oh yes, there are a lot of them that are actually evil. And then on the other side, there are some that are just like, well, you know what? I'm gonna carve out a life for myself and protect the people of Kameroth.
Right, which would be a Zabriel thing.
Yeah, that would be Zabriel. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Kameroth.
Yeah, I think a lot of planets too. Kameroth, Avalis, Travenum.
What was the last one? It wasn't like Scale. It was like whatever.
There's so many names.
Many names. I think what the book really does well is that despite the fact that it's a returning Primarch story, it's really small scale.
Oh yeah, it is. It is very small scale, actually. Like he isn't found out about by the Greater Imperium until the epilogue. Like, it is a very small scale book for sure, in terms of 40K anyway.
Right. For the most part, a good first third of the book is basically entirely around the Lion and Zabriel.
Yeah, and them taking back Kameroth.
Yeah,
or whatever the hell that planet is called.
Yeah, big green planet, kind of like Caliban, but not.
Yeah.
The book opens really well, though. I find the intro to be extremely poignant.
Because he wakes up not knowing anything,
knowing literally nothing, including his
name,
everything like that, and he sees the Emperor basically, but he doesn't know it's the Emperor. It's
he just sees the king.
Yeah, a decrepit king on a tiny fishing boat, slowly bleeding into the water.
Yeah, that is one hell of an imagery for the Emperor, by the way. So fitting.
It's really good. Like that entire that image, like it feels like it would be good on just a flat out painting.
Oh,
Tiny little, like a really decrepit king on a tiny boat, fishing it with like the gold crown on, and a bunch of shadows lurking around the water as his blood like slowly drips into the water.
Yep. Oh, that would be a great painting.
It's really impressive, and it's just such a cool way to illustrate the Emperor as a character, especially because he never speaks. He just kind of looks over like with like really sad, tired eyes.
Yep. Oh, it is great. It is a great intro, great imagery, the whole 9 yards. Yep.
It kind of, I don't know, like not often is the Emperor portrayed as so weak.
Yeah. Well, unless they show him on the golden throne and he's just like skeletal bones and.
Right, but like metaphorically, very often when they refer to the Emperor in like metaphors, they rarely ever show him that down. That
in metaphors, he's like God. He's
right.
The chosen, the Almighty.
I take over Gilliman's body once to fight Mortarion in recent editions. It's like, all right, he can still do crap like that. It's a hell of a lot different than him being this decrepit king on a boat.
Yeah. Also, I like that when Lion did get his faculties back, he's like, "Oh, Rabute Gilliman, that bastard!"
He immediately started bitching about Gilliman.
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, this guy's all right."
You know, it's kind of funny that how much they also mentioned Russ in this book, despite considering that we just did an episode on Russ yesterday.
Yeah, I was trying not to mention Russ in the episode because I didn't want to spoil the book for you at all.
But, oh yeah, definitely. Of course, I had to do with that.
That's why.
I mean, it did feel good. It helped me out being able to properly be like, yeah, you know, Russ is the yin and the yang to the lion. And they kind of mentioned that a little bit in the books. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, like when I think about Space Marine novels, there's a couple pitfalls they fall into. The first one is that it's way too, it's way too long. Or not long. It's too wide scale. It's like it's too big.
Yeah, it's galactic.
Right. It's always some gigantic scale. And the second issue I find is that often either the Primarchs or the Marines don't really have much personality.
Oh, that definitely was not the case here. They had plenty of personality among them. Yeah.
And then thirdly, it really like the final bit is that there isn't really a solid progression, especially with some of the villains. And I think for the most part, making the villains like they're really enjoyable when they're on screen. It's kind of funny.
Agreed.
They kind of have a little bit of that Night Lord's Gallows humor.
Yeah, they do. And they had their own little rivalries, and they had their own little conflicts, and yeah.
Like Baylor and what was the creepy dude, the Slaanesh guy?
I keep wanting to call him Macrog. I think it's
Markov.
Markov. That's right. Markov. There we go. Yeah, anyway.
I really liked their rivalry because he was this super Slaanesh corrupted guy, and they chop his head off at the end of the novel, and he's like picks it up. It's like, I'll see you later.
Oh yeah, I'll get you back for that, loser. And wow, I was like, dang, like Chaos can just like you get your head cut off, and then you just
grabbed it, picked it up. It's like, all right, I'm going.
Yeah. Although they do explain how he was able to do that later.
Yeah, his axe.
It's because his axe makes him immortal or something.
But small, you know, like there's a great bit of like back and forth between the two of them. Baylor is often just kind of pissed off. He's like, stop eating the Astartes, you dick.
You can come back later if Seraphax says you can come back and have some dessert. Just leave 'em.
There is some genuinely decent humor in this book. Not just old man Zabriel and his difficulties, but all of the Risen are like 1,000-year veterans of the Great Crusade. They're all their own mini heroes, or pirates or renegades in their own right. Like what's the pirate dude? Like the Boris One Eye or something?
Oh yeah, Boris or something. Yeah, he's got one eye, and he's. I think he even raided one of his fellow Fallen's station or something as a pirate, and they were mad at him. And
yeah, like that kind of stuff, that kind of back and forth. It provides a lot of really good Space Marine characterization, which you don't normally get.
Yeah. I also like that. Yeah, since we're talking about the age thing, like seeing a Primarch deal with age is pretty fun. Well, I don't want to say funny, it's interesting. Because, like, when they're fighting that one Chaos Sorcerer, and he's like, tell me what you've done to me. How have you cursed me? What is this malady? And the Sorcerer just kind of laughs. He's like, dude, there's no malady. You're just old.
I really liked that scene. That was really funny.
That was great. I guffawed, if I could use that term.
It was set up really well. It was like,
yeah, because he thinks he's cursed. He thinks he's like, oh, I remember how I used to be. Oh, I feel a little clunky. What's going on? Must be chaos. Must have done something to me. It's like, nah, dude, you're just old. You are 10,000 years old.
Like, what malady afflicts you? You killed 6 to 8 of my men and broke my back.
Yeah.
You're
You
just
defeated 2
old.
giant tentacled Slanesh demons. Broke my back. What malady could afflict you?
He actually killed Obliterator.
Oh, is that what those were?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you remember them, but I'll send you a quick picture. It's these dudes. Oh,
epic embed fail, laugh at this user.
Let's try this one. There we go.
Oh boy. Ooh. Are they any?
Killed
Wow.
those guys.
He was rushed by 2 of those things. Sheesh. Are they one specific chaos god, or is that just chaos being chaos?
That's just chaos being chaos.
Yeah, and that's essentially a chaos terminator. That's
no. It's just some chaos guy that's like kind of bust through his armor. And just
okay.
Done
Kinda look like-
chaos weird
okay.
stuff.
Gotcha. It kind of looked like he had like Terminator plate in the middle, but I wasn't sure if that was. Doesn't matter.
All stations.
Obliterators
Concentrate fire on the
yes.
target.
Yeah, you're very nasty. Like they make a couple good jabs at him during the book. Some of the Risen are just like, he looks older than before. Lion just kind of grits his teeth.
Yeah. They do make a point to be like, man, he's old.
He's getting
Old man.
Yeah, a little age up in there, you know.
Yeah.
It's rather funny hearing it as often as it is. I liked the Risen gang a lot. They were all extremely I was extremely waiting for when they were going to reveal what was under the helmet of the Red Whisper guy with the plasma gun.
Yeah, there was a part of me that thought he was gonna turn. Because
I thought he was chaos. I 100% thought he was chaos. Or
I was like, man, he's worshiping chaos. He must. The fact that he will not take that helmet off in front of anybody, like, there's got to be something funky under there, and it's either chaos, or he's gonna turn, or he's not who he says he is, or something. And it's like, it never happened, and it was just like, oh, come on. It felt like a Chekhov gun.
I felt like he was gonna be Baylor. Like in disguise.
Oh, fair. That could have been too, sure.
But ironically, the big confrontation with Baylor is just on a monk mountain.
Yeah.
And they just find him.
Evidan,
He's like,
right? The Psyker.
Yeah, the Psyker. And he just kind of is like, yeah, I'm part of the Chaos Band. That's it.
Yep. Good to see you, brothers. I'm with the 10,000 Eyes. You guys should come with us. And although they did. What was the idea that Seraph? It was like, oh yeah, I may have like gone to chaos, but it's because like the Emperor needs to be allowed to die, so that his
was
soul.
Seraphax's, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was Seraphax's. so that his soul can go to the warp and he can ascend, and then he can get rid of all of chaos and humanity is saved. I was like, you know, I mean, that idea has merit to it anyway. Like, it's an interesting idea. It's an interesting idea to, like, go to chaos because the Emperor's got to die. You got to let him go.
That is actually a pretty common concept when it comes to the Emperor is, hey, you know, the only reason he hasn't ascended to a deity fully, especially with this much worship, is because he's being trapped by his mortal body.
Yeah, it's because humanity won't let him ascend. So for chaos to just be like, yeah, you know, if you let him die, he ascends into the warp and probably just dominates.
That's the thought.
Yeah.
I think there was that talk of Grey Knights have like a last chance thing where that is one of their options, but it's not
that wonky scroll thing that has,
it's not fully confirmed. We're not 100% yet, but
yeah. It's an interesting idea though. Like, I don't know, maybe I just haven't been paying attention enough, but I don't recall hearing it that often, so hearing it in this book, you know, chaos, like, weird chaos dude has some merit with that idea. Like, that might actually work.
And you know, that kind of is where the intrigue of the chaos and Seraphax's whole thing is interesting to look at, because obviously it's a story not just about him, but like the companionship with Baelor and how they kind of work through this thing. And you know, I mean, obviously his goals are pretty insane, but
a little bit, yeah.
He was
does
also
pretty insane things, yeah.
He does. He like they break the Slaneshi mirror, and it drips onto him into like giant silver wings, and he traps the souls of the risen in the wings and stuff.
That
like,
sounded like such a cool thing too, like just those giant mirror wings with all the faces in it. Oh man, that's so chaosy and cool.
Yeah, it's such a weird level of like the fact that they took the bones of the entire population of the planet and turned it into like an orbiting.
Yeah, it was like an orbiting ossuary that they were gonna use for. The hell were they gonna do with it?
I don't remember, but I just specifically remember that they took all of the iron in the blood of all of the people and used it to make chains.
Yes, that's right.
To use against the lion, which is just awesome.
Yep. Oh, that's right. They took all the blood from people, made chains, and that's how they like sort of restrained the lion. Yep.
It's such chaos crap. I love it. Like, of course you're gonna imbue. Of course the gods are gonna let you use their power to imbue chains when the chains are made of the iron in the blood of a planet's population. That's how.
Yeah, and then
that's how
and then
your
you
ass
take the
ascends.
bones, and then you take the bones and make them an orbiting thing.
Yeah.
Wasn't
that's
it
how you
something
get to
like
be a demon prince.
weren't they gonna use the bones as part of like the ritual to like capture the lion's spirit or something or some nonsense?
Yeah, it was part of the ritual.
It was pen and parcel.
Yeah, they all work together in some way.
Yeah.
But that was just it's such chaos crap, and I love it.
Yeah,
they were great.
Very chaosy. Yeah.
I wish there was more of the Lion's Guard in the book.
Oh yeah, the Lion's Guard. They must have been so freaked out.
But it's just so funny to me that like all of these baseline humans are like, no, sir, you need a protector, and they just they're just like guardsmen, but like not even.
Yeah, and they're trying to guard a Primarch, and even Lion was like, when the Lion's Guard formed, I was like, guys, I am the last person on this planet that needs a personal bodyguard. What are you doing? And Zabriel's like, dude, come on. This is like an honor for them. You can't, you're going to insult them.
Which also speaks to the lion really kind of calming down a bit.
Oh, significantly, yeah.
Being a lot more relaxed with his tone, because he, as we know, Old Lion was not a very kind person.
No, not really. No. Yeah, and it, like, all of the Fallen that are like, Zabriel, you're here with, like, The lion? Are you okay? You're alive? Like what? Like that's not the lion I remember. What the?
Like I'm not dead after I fired upon you?
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's like, what? That's okay. We got to see this because that doesn't sound like the lion. What?
And that really is where I think a lot of the character development comes from in this book. That helps a lot. Not just for the lion, but also this is the most of the Fallen I think we've ever gotten, like in the history of 40K.
I would imagine so, because before now it would just be if the Fallen showed up, you're dead.
Not even pew pew pew. It is long extended torture to make you repent.
Oh yeah, that's true. Ugh.
Yeah, it is long, painful torture to get you to repent for your actions, and then
Night Lord stuff.
Not sort of. It's they do it for fun.
That's true. They're doing it to Fallen that are traitors.
Even a little curse at the end of the book, which I always appreciate.
Yes, Curse was haunting him a little bit, wasn't he?
I really like that at the end, whatever warp person was taking the face of all the Primarchs took the face of Perturabo, and Lion is like, could you have at least picked a Primarch I gave a shit about?
Yeah. I
like,
thought for
damn.
sure when it was like, oh yeah, the wires came out of his head, I was like, oh, surely that's gonna be Angry. Perturabo. And then I personally like when he turned into Magnus, and he's like, oh, I know you must be a fraud because Magnus doesn't hit that hard. I was like, damn!
That was funny.
Bro!
Fucking shade thrown.
The savagery on Lion, jeez. Spitting bars over here. God.
I really liked that level of humor. It's so good.
Yeah.
There's so much of it. I loved Kai, the duelist.
Oh yeah, the over exaggerating duelist. Which actually his duelist skills very good.
It was very,
Quite the
very
swordsman, yeah.
That being said, he is still like a bum. He kind of reminded me of Russ a little bit.
Yeah, when you were talking about how Russ would tell like over exaggerated stories, I was like, oh yeah, just like Kai, just like Kai.
It's great. It is absolutely great. The entire book went through such a solid period of ups and downs. Not like actually like bad downs, but just how the story unfolded.
Oh yeah.
There was the first time they go from Camelot to Avarice or whatever with the Lion's Guard and all like beasts are hunting them. It's like genuinely frightening.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's great. There's so much lore. There's so much new world lore. And for a book to pull it off this well, that's kind of the big ending bit. Is like they didn't just do a really good job at explaining a lot of the new interesting lore of the world. The book is good.
Oh yeah, it is well executed on every single level for sure.
I think this is, even if it's not in maybe like my top 5 books, I think it is if maybe one of the best made of all 40K novels. I think it's up there with Infinite Divide. It's up there with like the first Heretic.
Oh, definitely. So, can the Lion do this forest traversal thing anywhere he wants to now? Because by the end of the book, he meditates to learn to clear his mind, which he's never done before. And like he can use it at will now, because that's how they surprise Baelor and Seraphax. They don't take a shuttle. They do the forest shenanigans to sort of flank them. So can he just do that at will anytime he wants to go anywhere he wants now?
I mean, I assume that, like with most kinds of weird powers, there is a certain level of cooldown just from like a mental and personal perspective.
Sure. Yeah.
But I do genuinely think that for the most part, he kind of just can, because in game he can, which is fun.
Oh wow.
He just has deep strike, like a teleport flare, except it's just forest walk now.
Gotcha. That's a big ability to have. That's huge.
Yeah, it's teleport flare without teleport flare.
Yeah.
Which is just really strong. And, you know, for the most part, not every Primarch had like a power, but it's kind of nice that he has something.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Imagine getting flanked by a Primarch who just shows up out of nowhere, and not
with
only
his
is it
boys.
Yeah, with his boys, with his Risen now, and it's like, oh god, and it's like, okay, not only are you getting flanked by a Primarch, you're getting flanked by the fucking Lion, and it's like, oh god, all right, great, just kill me.
Not gonna lie, it really upsets me that it's called the Risen, and I can't unhear it, you know?
Damage control.
What?
Riz.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I hadn't made that connection until you said it. Why have you
I
cursed
know,
me like
the
this?
Risen, I know.
The
I know,
Rizzler.
dude, I know. I'm not happy about it, but every time, like, it's the Zoomer internet has ruined me.
If you hadn't said it, I wouldn't have made the connection.
You know a slight funny thing that I didn't think about?
What's that?
Damn it.
Well,
Not a
yeah,
good map for it. I need a bigger one.
The cover art of this book is the lion with the sword and the shield. He gets the shield in the last 5 minutes of the entire book.
He really does. It's like, yeah, isn't it literally the epilogue that he gets it, or is it actually the last 5 minutes of the main
I think it's the
story?
last 5 minutes of the story because the epilogue is when he meets Dante.
Oh, that's right. He meets Dante, and he's like, "Who are you to wear my sacred brother's face?"
Yeah.
He's so pissed. Also, I didn't realize how much Dante likes Sanguinius.
Why would
Like,
he not? He's the son of
That's
Sanguinius.
true. Like, Sanguinius is like... Psh. But yeah, there was that moment where he's like, damn it, if only Gilliman had died instead of Sanguinius. And it's like, whoa. All right.
It's really
This man
funny how
hates
often,
Gilliman.
It's really funny how often he hates Gilliman.
I'm a big fan, although I do like Gilliman. But still,
I like Gilliman
it's
too.
comical.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
But no, I mean for the most part, this is actually kind of fun too because this basically is right before good old what is it? Arcs of Omen.
Yeah.
The Lion.
It's how he wakes up and how he finds everything and how the Imperium finds him. And he's also not a big fan of what the Imperium's become, but you know, what are you gonna do?
And especially because in Arcs of Omen, it starts off with him sparring with the old Risen. And I think Boar's One Eye is even mentioned by name and stuff in there.
Nice.
So it's good. It kind of adds a little bit to it. And then he fights Angron and all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. You'd think they'd mention Zabriel by name, because he was kind of like, you know, his right-hand man almost.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, actually, I think they probably did. I don't quite remember.
Oh.
I didn't really go with the names very often when we were doing the Arcs of Omen because, like,
Yeah.
you didn't know who they were. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. But at that point, we hadn't read Son of the Forest, so it's just, yeah, they're the Risen. Hooray!
Hooray!
Ugh,
Nah,
and now every time I say the Risen, I hear it, and it's just,
Yeah.
why did you do this to me?
I'm sorry, dudes.
I was living, ignorance was bliss, and then you hit me with the Risen, and now I'm even saying it differently now too.
Yeah, you have to say it's the Risen.
The
I know.
Risen. I'm
It's
saying
in-
it
yeah.
different now too. You are a chaos corruption.
Listen, get me the silver wings of soul stealing. You'll see amazing things.
Bricky, half of Bricky's head just
This immediately combusts on fire.
yeah, exactly. You're awful.
I know.
Uh,
It's just who I am. Call me Mr. Shitter.
Yeah, they do.
They absolutely do.
Somebody does.
Someone
so-
out there.
So, do we want to give this a number rating at all, or are we just gonna say, damn, we love this? Because I was gonna give it like a 9 out of 10.
I was gonna give it a 9. Yeah.
Yep,
No, I
9
think
out of
it's
10.
incredible. I think the only thing that would make it into a 10 is if he just did something else for me.
Yeah,
Like as
It's like,
amazing.
you gotta reserve the 10 out of 10s for like perfection. You know? And this was like really, really good. I don't know if worldly, like, you know.
You.
I mean, I can't think.
I gotta play this
of
better.
a fault for it. I cannot, because perfection is a lack of faults, and I can't think of a single bad part of this book. But it didn't. It has. It's not gonna like stick with me the same that like the Night Lord books do.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't. It doesn't have that level, because I think the Night Lord books aren't quite as good as Son of the Forest in like an overall writing. But the highs are just
memorable.
Yeah, the highs are just so much higher at times for me that it kind of
it sticks with you. Like
it
it hits you in the chest and it just doesn't let go. Yeah.
So it's a little tough, but
9 out of 10
I give it
for sure.
Definitely a 9. I think from like an objective, just writing point of view, a 9 is perfect.
Very close to perfect. Very close. Not quite, but you know, amazing book. You should read it. If you're a Dark Angels fan and you haven't read it, what are you doing?
I mean, honestly, if you're just a fan, I would read it. It's great.
Yeah, if you're just a fan of 40K, yeah, read it.
Now
Good. Let's get
question
this over
is
with.
the next book.
Oh yeah, we got next one. What are the options? What are you thinking? Any? Maybe I can help.
I mean, do you? Oh, well, no, I don't have any options. That's the thing.
Oh.
I had a couple ideas.
Well, what are your ideas?
Well,
Let's brainstorm at the end here. We've talked about the book. Let's
All right.
brainstorm about the next one.
All right, so
Hit me with your best shot.
There's a couple ideas I have.
Fire away.
First one, I get the joke. First one, was I was thinking, okay, we could do the next Eisenhorn book. Apparently,
yeah, we
they
did
get-
like Eisenhorn.
We did. Apparently, they get better and better.
Okay.
The whole time, like apparently, it gets just continues to get really, really good.
Okay. Okay.
There, I was thinking if we wanted to do more Horus Heresy stuff, I had 2 options. I had either Fulgrim, which has the Maraviglia and everything.
Is that the painting that he is supposedly stuck in?
No, that's the concert.
Oh, right. What's the Maraviglia?
No, that is the Maraviglia is the name of the concert.
Oh, okay.
There is also the painting.
Faster. We
That's
need more speed.
Right.
the other one is one that we haven't done in a while, or we haven't done, and it's shocking that we haven't. Horus Rising,
Sonar, what do you
the
hear?
first Horus Heresy book, like ever.
Maybe we should do that one just because that sounds like it's one of those iconic ones that is surprising that we haven't done. I do kind of want to hear about the concert, though. I do kind of want to hear about the Maraviglia, but a part of me feels like maybe.
Something's wrong down below. We're losing speed.
There's also a lot of other ones like. There's a couple other ones. There's like Hell's Reach. That's also really big. At the same time, I also don't want to. Like, I don't want to overdo Space Marine stuff because there's so much of it.
Just don't let it happen again.
Do we want to sleep on it? Because Shy's not here. We can ask Shy on.
Well, if Shy actually had a genuine thought about what book we should read, she would be here.
That's.
If she gave a shit, if she was like, "We're gonna read this orc book," I would be here. She would be here.
Well, I suppose if she would suggest the whatever orc book she knew about. That's true.
All right, so I'm all right.
Make
viewers,
a decision, Bricky.
No. We're gonna leave it to the viewers in the comment section, and you know we're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it to our patrons on Discord as well as maybe Twitter, etc. We're gonna have a vote. We're gonna do the second Eisenhorn book, Horus Rising, or
Fulgrim.
or Fulgrim.
Okay, that's a good array. Those all sound interesting to me. I don't care which one wins. They all sound good. Perfect.
All right, we'll find out. We'll figure it out. We'll see what we get. And yeah, with that, thank you everyone so much for watching. Hold for, oh wait, I have one more of the book I mentioned that I really think I should have.
Okay, what's that?
The fourth Baylor gets to the planet, and it's like too. It's like someone's working surface-to-air missiles. Identify yourself, shithead.
That's right.
Like, that is not Imperial soldier sound.
That is not the Imperial Code at all. That is what, hey.
Alright. Baylor, smack his nuts.
Awkward.
Fire to bear on that target.
Oop.
Wait, what are you doing?
We're doing well. Keep up the fine work.
Piss off, Sky Rats. Oh no. All right. Let's change things up a bit. Not that one.